Subscribe, hit that bell icon, and share this clip if you enjoy it. This is TRS Clips. We spoke about the possibility of hot war. Folks living in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, at least the metros, Kolkata because it's near the northeast. Should we be worried if there's a hot war?
I believe we should not be worried. Peace can only be achieved through strength. You don't have peace through love and affection or mutual respect. Peace can only be achieved through strength. That is the lesson we have to remember from Vishnugupta Chanakya's life. Peace through strength. Today, India is building its strength, its conventional military strength. We are building submarines. We are building. We are modernizing the army, the infantry, and all that. The air force, and we have the nukes.
I just want to highlight something that Major General G.D. Bakshi told me, and that Saket Modi, who's one of the world's cybersecurity experts, told me. Even as Indian students, especially if you're an engineering grad, you can contribute to the Indian military in general a lot by choosing not to go abroad and actually applying for jobs with the Indian military to be a part of this change. And right now, India needs it more than ever. So if you want to do something for your country, and if you're at least a science grad, this is the time. You can actually apply and do a lot there. If you're a coder and you want to do something for your country, know that the Indian military, for sure, maybe not publicly, but for sure, is building a cyber unit as well, because so is China. And if a hot war happens, there's going to be a cyber angle in it. That's the true nature of World War III. So when you say peace is in strength, maybe as Indian citizens, rather than focusing on fear and focusing on our amygdalas, we should focus on our cerebrum, focus on thinking, logic, and adding to the strength.
Yes.
Go on, sir. Now I will let you go on.
Right. So India is modernizing its military. We don't know about our cyber capabilities. For the past 7 years, we don't know anything that's happening. I remember when Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, for the first couple of years, there were these hackathons, students showing off their hacking skills, coding skills, and then it became quiet. So maybe it was a talent acquisition search 100%. Or something. It's 100%. Possible. Yeah. And it's always the young coders who are the best, So I am quite sure we have reasonably good, or maybe more than reasonably good, cyber capabilities, which we will not speak about obviously in the public domain. We have space capabilities as well. We have ASAT weapons. We have good satellites. And we have, like we spoke about, the nukes. So we have the strength. We have the ability to counter China in any way. If they try something, we have the answers. The whole of Tibet is open and barren. We know exactly where their camps are, their military camps and everything is. It's easy to pinpoint it. We have extraordinarily accurate cruise missiles, the BrahMos missile and other missiles as well. So we can take them out if they start something. We can even interdict the Malacca Strait if we want. Using the BrahMos missile and various other strategies, we are even developing a new kind of weapon, which is a missile-delivered torpedo. A torpedo is like an underwater missile, but it will be first delivered by air, and then it goes underwater, and then it will go and do its final mission, that sort of thing. So it's a hybrid kind of weapon we are developing. And every other week, we have a new alert out in the Bay of Bengal for some kind of weapons test or something. So we are very busy. ISRO, DRDO, mostly DRDO is extremely busy in developing and testing out new weapons. So we are in a good position. There is no need for the citizens of India to panic or be afraid. We are a very powerful nation. We have all the answers to anything China can throw at us. The only thing is that I am sure I don't have to tell the government this. We have to be vigilant, eternally vigilant. Don't take the adversary for granted. Don't take them lightly. Take every threat extremely seriously, and we'll be fine. So what India needs right now, India needs at least a decade of peace, and we can only achieve peace through strength. If we have a decade of peace, we could conceivably reach the $10 trillion mark within 10 to 15 years. If we have peace, if India remains at peace. So that is the key, to achieve peace and to maintain peace for 10 to 15 years until we reach the $10 trillion economy mark. Once we reach there, we are a major power, almost like a superpower.
Speaking about history being cyclic, India has been dominated by invasive forces because of the divide and rule policy primarily. And even today, the nation internally is divided.
Yes.
There is a very strong left-wing versus right-wing narrative that's going on in the nation. Do you think that both the narratives, and I'm not highlighting one single one here, both the narratives and kind of all the negativity on either side is driven through external Chinese forces, through psychological warfare or cyber warfare, or our other rivals? Like, for example, could the left-wing narrative be driven by America for their interests, or China for their interests? And could the right-wing narrative be driven by someone else, say Russia? Is this a possibility?
It is a very good question. So today we are living in a world where national borders are in some ways irrelevant because of the cyberspace. So what's happening in India? See, in any society, you need different opinions, different positions. There is a healthy society. If you have only one opinion, uniformity of opinion, that is not a healthy society. That's very strange. That's monochromatic and unhealthy and unnatural. So India is a vibrant democracy. We have all kinds of different political opinions and all, and it is categorized as left versus right. And nowadays the right is dominant because of the kind of government we have, which came because of the right wing, so to say, the right wing viewpoint or worldview of India. So we have this clash going on within India. And the question you have asked is very important, much of this could possibly be orchestrated from abroad, from outside of India. Because you see certain ideologies which are politically, they don't have much currency in India. Because we see the result of the elections and we see who's winning. And yet these certain political factions seem to be very powerful, and they seem to have unlimited access to funds and all that. So that is a very old trick in the playbook, in the geopolitical playbook. You fund certain political positions in the target country. You prop up certain politicians, or you create new leaders out of nowhere, like Mr. Zelensky, right? And then you use that to divide the country, fragment the country, and possibly bring your sort of person to power so that you can control the country without actually setting foot there. So it is certainly a possibility. I am not aware personally of who's funding what, or if anybody is funding anyone at all, but it is certainly a very significant possibility.
And it's certainly what the news traditionally will not tell you.
The news will never tell you that.
Because even the news is sort of on one of the two sides. And media generally, you see narratives being drawn by journalists,
yes,
who sometimes draw very anti-right-wing or anti-left-wing narrative. You need to be able to read between the lines. And most importantly, the bottom line here is that the entire nation needs to come together and stop kind of focusing on elements of fear, elements of what can go wrong, and understand that the larger source of fear is on the outside of the borders, where we do have a threat in the form of China. We sort of have an ambiguous threat in the form of USA as well.